It's okay, here we go. So when you're working on your airplane, right now I've got the airplane and the path, and I'm going to show you manipulating and playing around with both of these here in just a minute. But the first thing I need to tell you is if you don't have your path clicked out like I have mine, this is how you do it. You go to Create, CV Curve Tool. Now the CV Curve Tool is great for creating Bezier splines. Actually, I believe it has something to do with CV. Their coordinates, and maybe I shouldn't record this because then it shows a little bit of my ignorance. But the CV Curve Tool is going to allow me to click out a curve that I can then use for lots of purposes. I can use it to create surfaces, but in this case we're going to create a path for our airplane to follow. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the CV Curve Tool, and then that's going to give you a tool that you can start clicking out. I recommend using your 4 view and clicking out the scene in your 4 view, starting by doing it in the top. Here I did a figure 8. Okay, there's a nice figure 8 that you can click through. So again, one more time, Create CV Curve Tool. I'm going to click out this curve, and you can click it out, and I would avoid having it cross over top of itself, and don't make it as complicated as I've just made it. Otherwise, that's going to cause you some problems. But if you just click it out, just do a few clicks, there's a nice simple path that my airplane's going to follow. If you're having a hard time seeing your path, try going in the top view, in your wireframe view, because most of the time when you can't see it, it's because you're clicking on the grid, but something like your landscape is hiding the grid. So for right now, I don't have a landscape in the way, so I can just click it out. Once you click it out, you're left with the line. Now I have a flat line. It's just one flat path. If I want my path to have a little more interest, to maybe have some ups and downs, I right-click and hold and go to Control Vertex. This is going to allow me to take those control points, and I can move them up, move them down, or I can even take and move them over if I really wanted to. That path is going to confuse my airplane, so until you get better at it, I would recommend just keeping with just a nice, simple path. A zigzag, an S-curve, a little U-shape like I have. Just something simple that you can then maybe take and move up a couple of places. So just like mine. Again, to draw out the CV curve, you go to Create, CV Curve Tool, and just start clicking it out. Okay, once you have your curve clicked out, it's time to attach your airplane to the curve. Now I'm going to screw this up on purpose just because I want to show you how to fix yours, because chances are good that when you created your airplane, you most likely created it with the X and the Y in the wrong position according to the CV Curve Tool rules, or according to the motion path rules. So I'm going to do that real quick so you can ignore what I'm doing. Just realize that what I'm clicking on right now, what I'm trying to accomplish, is I'm trying to make it so that it screws up so that I can show you how I fix it. So, under the animation tool set, now I've gone through and I've screwed this up, so I'll show you how to fix it. We want to attach our airplane to our path. That's what makes this path animation. So in order to do so, we need to be in our animation tool set, which is located in the upper right hand corner. You drop down and you choose animation from the tools. And then under the animation tool set, you select the airplane, shift and select the path, go to animate, motion paths, attach to motion path. When you do, it is going to automatically assign two keyframe values. In my case, it's going to be frame 1 and frame 240. Now, if you look at this, I think it's fairly obvious what's going wrong about my animation. The airplane is flying backwards. Now, the direction at which your airplane attaches to the motion path is directly related to the origin point of the model. If your origin point is set weird, the model's going to be set weird. Now you can overcome this by going in and figuring out where the origin point starts, or you can, once you've already attached it, you can make adjustments on the airplane itself. So the first way that I'm going to go about making adjustments to make my airplane go the right way is I'm going to select the path, go to my attributes editor, my channels box, or the attributes editor. You can do it in either one, but I'm going to do it in the channels box for right now. I'm going to go into the outputs where it says motion path. You're going to see 4 values. You're going to see U value. The U value is the position of the airplane along the path in percentage-wise. So right now I have 240 frames. If I take this to 120 frames, my U value should be 0.5. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. I need to come here and do 120 frames. So you notice that at 120 frames, well, it's pretty close to 0.5. The other values, those are the ones we need to pay attention to. Value 1, front twist. If I click on the word front twist and then come over and middle mouse click and drag, if I drag to the left and drag to the right, it makes my airplane bank. This is good. I want to make sure that I have that control. The next control I have is my up twist. Okay, my up twist is going to make my airplane face forward. And my side twist is going to be an up and down motion like that. Now really, all I really want to be able to do is this front twist. I just want to be able to bank. Okay, I'm not too concerned about doing a front flip. Most airplanes I know can't do this. Unless they're crashing, in which case you're not really following a path. So you want to make sure that you have control at the very least to be able to move your airplane to bank and or to turn sideways. If you're not able to do that, so if what I'm doing doesn't work for you, go into your attributes editor, go into the motion path 1. On the front axis, change it to Y. On the up axis, change it to Z. Go to your front twist, go to your up twist, go to your side twist, see if you can change those values. If you're not getting the values that you want, then go into your attributes editor and try a different combination. Luckily for me, the front axis and up axis at X and Y at their default worked. If you struggle with it too much, call me over, I'll sit down and we'll try to reset your airplane. But ideally, you want to be able to have your airplane so that it starts out straight, and as it moves along, you're able to have the airplane bank either way and do barrel rolls. So when I tell it to do barrel roll, do barrel roll, do barrel roll, it'll do so. Okay, so now comes the animating part of it. You've got it attached. You've got it so that it'll fly straight. So now the part of this is making sure the time is correct. Right now I have 240 frames. That gives me a nice swift animation. If I want it slower than that, I need to add frames. So I come in and you select the word. So you guys are most likely going to start out, and these words are going to be at 24. You want to make an adjustment here. So right now it says 240. So I click on the word 240. I come to my attributes editor, and I'm going to see where it says position marker shape, and I have a time value here. I can put in 500. If I want 500 frames, I could put in 300 if I want 300 frames. That gives me a frame set between 1 and 300. I'm going to adjust my value to 300 right here, not 30. And I'm going to watch my airplane take off. Whee! Yes, if you don't make the wee noise, it's all downhill. So, okay. To add some interest to this, we want to add some keyframes along our path. I can tell you right now, however, if you come along and you try to rotate it using your rotate tool and you hit S, it is going to screw up the entire path. In a sense, when I hit S and I set that keyframe, I told the airplane, I no longer want you to be keyframed, I no longer want you to be on a path, I want you to be keyframed. Now, there is a way to mix the two. That's another lesson for another day. For right now, I want to show you how you can start changing and keyframing to do barrel rolls or to make it bank or to do other fun things like that. To do so, you're going to come in, and I'm starting at frame 1. I'm going to select my motion path. I'm going to come to my channels box, click on motion path 1, and I'm going to select front, up, and side twist. I'm going to shift and select all those. You can also click and drag. It doesn't matter. Both things do the same. So with those selected, I right-click and I hit key selected. That's going to set a key at frame 1. So let's say right around here is when I want it to start banking. I'm going to highlight those frames, right-click and hit key selected, because I don't want it to start banking until I reach certain frames. So right now at about frame 85, I want it to bank. So I'm going to come into my front twist value, click on the word front twist, middle mouse click and drag, and I'm going to have it bank to the left. That's good enough for me. So I'm going to highlight those 3 values, right-click and key selected. Moving right along, right around here, I want it to bank the opposite direction. So I'm going to set my keyframes right here to where he evens out a little. Right-click, key selected. I'm going to go forward a few frames, and now I want it to bank in the opposite direction. So I go their way. Let me go down a few frames. Come to my front twist. Bank that direction. Right-click and select those keyframes. And while he's banking that way, I'm actually going to have him right here do a complete barrel roll. By going the other way around, I'm going to have him go all the way around, 360 degrees. Select them all. Right-click and hit key selected. Now when I watch the animation, he banks back, and flips. I'm going a little quick. Let me go to my real time. And let's watch it again. He banks the other way, and does a barrel roll. Settles back into his regular old animation. So he's cruising along. Oh, I'm going to bank. The bank was a little extreme, so I may want to go in and adjust it a little bit. But in general, you get the idea. So where we're going to pick up on this next time is we're going to start doing, we're going to do a little bit with camera work. So we'll end this for right now. I'll go ahead and make sure that I save the file so that we can use it again next time. And then right after this, I'll show you how you can do a propeller.